Monte was one of the main underdogs of Blast Paris Major. Only a few expected them to reach the playoffs, but they did it, despite all the barriers. Now, when people are speaking about the new team for Boros and what Monte will do without them, we decided to make the most full story of Monte. How did Woro 2K come up with a name for a team when the tag was blackmailed? And why Monte is greater than NaVi? Let's go.
Make some noise for Monte!
Monte's story is closely related to one of its founders, Woro 2K. After being benched by Mad Lions at the end of 2021, he started looking for options to continue his career. Not everyone was willing to take Woro into the team due to the Ukrainian sniper's difficult personality.
Два фрага, Ток! Какую флешку? Да ты два слева! Почему ты вышел боком?
Послушай, я думал, что он закидает флеш, я...
Не случайно. Да все, ну
So Woro 2K decided to take matters into his own hands and create his team. The opportunity presented itself when he met someone interested in the idea of establishing a Ukrainian-based organization during the party in his hometown, Monte.
Я познайомився з людиною з Монастирища, ми пили, випивали алкоголь і спустя там пару п'янок придумали ідею попробувати создати організацію.
In the interview, Woro does not reveal the name of his partner, but we can assume that it was the club's CEO, Dmitro Vovk. They didn't spend much time thinking about the name.
Ми думали ще під другим, там футбольний у нас є клуб «Авангард». Це сухопутні війська, які йдуть перші, а в нас такий ще був агресивний там стиль гри, теж прикольно, ну, щоб щось було
Але
зв'язане.
така команда вже є.
Да, така команда вже є.
Initially, they wanted to name the team Avangard. There is a football club with the same name in the city, but there is already a well-known Kazakh organization called Avangard in CSGO. To avoid confusion with the Berlin major runners-up, they decided to change it to something closer to their hearts, and thus, the team Monte was born. According to Vladimir, Monte is a slang term for Monastirski used by locals.
Назву думали, а потім вирішили, що так як ми двоє з Монте, це скорочено, ми всі говоримо, хто з Монастирища, це в нас типа такий сленг, то ми говоримо не Монастирище, а всі говорять Монте. Тому так і придумали. Да.
They didn't have to think long about the team's logo. What could be more representative than combining the emblem of Monastirski and Ukraine? There was one more problem. It's challenging to build a new esports team or organization without funding. The guys approached the ZBS team, a crypto investment project from Kiev, to address this issue. After a brief presentation of their plans, they reached an agreement. In late July of 2022, the Monte story officially began. The initial lineup of Monte consisted of Woro 2K, Boros, Red Star, Rollin, and Joel. Lord became the coach of the new team. The team existed in this composition for only a week. After finishing second at Frag Season 9, Rollin was replaced by DemQQ, and Kryzen became the new coach and manager of the team. With this roster, the team qualified for the RMR before IEM Rio Major and reached the playoffs of CCT's Central Europe Series No. 1. Before the RMR, the team encountered problems. Boro benched himself, and the team had to find a fifth player, who turned out to be Fesser. Considering that Boros had one of the best statistics in Monte, his inactive status was related to internal issues within the team that are unknown to us. Monte had a disappointing performance in the RMR, winning only one map against the underdog Saw. Afterward, Woro began testing various variations of the Monte lineup. Among the players that were tested, DemQQ, Red Star, Joel, Fesor, Boros, and Krasnal. They all played for Monte in Cash Cups and CCT South Europe Series No. 1, until Woro settled on a permanent core of Boros, DemQQ, Krasnal, and Fesser. In this lineup, they reached the finals against Copenhagen Flames and won Frag Season 10. However, the main achievement of this roster was qualifying for the ESL Challenger Season 44, which allows them to compete for a spot in the ESL Pro League. Unexpectedly, Monte faced problems when Fessor's health deteriorated, leading to constant substitutions in the team. Fesser was even hospitalized shortly before the new year, diagnosed with arthritis. Although it was later discovered that the diagnosis was not entirely accurate, potentially prolonging his treatment and rehabilitation by another 2 weeks. Consequently, Monte started searching for a new fifth player. and coach because Kryzen was struggling to handle 3 roles simultaneously as coach, analyst, and manager. SDY became the new 5th player, and Llamabat, who once helped Woro get into Mad Lions, became the coach. In this lineup, the team embarked on their legendary run in the playoffs of the final CSGO Major. In January, Monte found itself in an unpleasant situation when a former ESIC employee, Yarabai, appeared on the internet to expose a big iceberg of match fixing in CSGO and began blackmailing the team. He claimed to have evidence of Woro's involvement in 322 matches and demanded money from the CEO of Monte. After the refusal, he threatened that the team would never receive invites again. Over time, it became clear that Yarabai was just a common fraudster. After failing to qualify for IEM Rio 2023, Monte confidently advanced in the RMR, defeating Ecstatic, iNation, and Heat. However, the following month, Monte made a significant impact and made a name for themselves in the CSGO community. In March of 2023, Monte participated in 10 tournaments, including the final stages of qualifiers. They won 4 of them: European Pro League Season 6, CCT West Europe Series No. 2, CCT Central Europe Series No. 5, and ESL Challenger League Season 44 Europe. The last victory not only awarded them a $20,000 prize, but also secured a spot in the EPL Season 18. With this number of wins before the RMR, Monte ranked 8th among all CSGO teams in terms of prize money earned in 2023. Additionally, before the major qualifier, Monte achieved another milestone. They played the most maps on HLTV in 2023, with 139 maps played. The next closest team behind them is 9. Before we continue, we would like to remind you that you can support our channel financially via Patreon or PayPal. You will find all the details in the description below. After that, it was difficult to consider Monte an underdog in the RMR. Many analysts predicted their qualifying for the major, although not with much confidence. The team defeated ENCE and Cloud9 and had a chance to go 3-0. However, they faced Heroic, who easily defeated the new kings of the Tier 2 scene. Then, Monte destroyed Forest, but failed to reach the Legend stage. In the match for the last slot in this stage, they lost to the future major champions, Vitality. At this point, Monte gained many fans from all over the world. The team staunchly refused to shake hands with Russians from Force, whose main sponsor is Lukoil. They also actively advocate for supporting Ukraine on their social media and in interviews, reaching hundreds of thousands of esports fans worldwide.
Слава Україні!
This is in contrast to NaVi, the largest Ukrainian esports organization, which continues to include Russians in its roster, while the Ukrainian war is continuing. Before the major, Monte continued to dominate the Tier 2 scene. They reached the final of the CCT Central Europe Series No. 6, won the CCT Central Europe Series No. 3, and qualified for the closed qualifier of ESL Challenger Katowice 2023. They also broke their record, playing the most maps on HLTV in 4 months, a total of 163. The major became a real challenge for the team. They changed their main captain and played the tournament without a coach because of new restrictions for Ukrainian athletes and esports players. Llamabat was unable to obtain permission to travel to Paris. However, this only fueled Monte's determination.
Тренер буде робити все з онлайну, просто передавати нам через TeamSpeak або нашого менеджера /аналітика Крізена, який також робить свою роботу. Шкода тільки, що йому не дозволили бути замість Ламича за спинами у нас.
After a disappointing defeat against FaZe on Ancient, they defeated underdogs Fluxo. The next day, Monte lost to their main rival, Force. During the match, Result commented on Monte's players' running strategy, and after the game, the players of the sponsors team tried to continue their trolling. However, the results spoke for themselves. Monte defeated the Mongols and Pain, advancing to the Legend stage.
But here he comes, the soldier of sacrifice, Some Die Young, flanks all the way and calls a glorious game versus Pain. A moment of glory for Monte as they will reach the Legend stage.
While Force lost to FaZe and Gamer Legion and was eliminated from the tournament. As Krasnal summarized, they are running to the airports and we're in Legends.
Yeah, they wrote something bad on game chat. Seems like, what are they doing? They're only running, but suddenly they're running to airport and we are in the Legends.
After Monte advanced to the Legend stage, another hater of the team, Insider Overdrive, showed himself.
Про демки не взятое мнение. А как можно привязать мнение о чуваке, который играл в команде с читами? Просто с читами в наглую играл РМР. Как можно не привязать мнение? Слабохарактерный, который пытался с читами попасть на мажор. Тут он каким-то чудом попал в команду, где ему керят.
He brought up a 2-year-old scandal involving suspicions of radar hacking against the Akuma team's players. One of the players from that lineup was DemQQ. If you're interested in learning more about that scandal and the fate of the former Akuma players, let us know in the comments. Returning to our topic, Overdrive once again accused DemQQ and claiming he was being carried by his teammates from Monte. However, the numbers tell a different story, indicating that the Russian player is lying. Playing in secondary roles, DemQQ has impressive statistics. In the match against the Mongols, he ranked second after Boros, and against the Brazilians from Fluxo, he was the best player on the server. In the Legends stage, Monte took first on Furia, then Fnatic, and in the match for 3-0, they faced Vitality, who had previously prevented the Ukrainian team from entering the Legends stage at the RMR. Vitality easily dealt with Monte and advanced to the playoffs, while Woro & Co. faced their most principled opponent of all, NaVi. All fans were eagerly awaiting this match, with some even calling it a battle of ideologies. The battle ended swiftly, with Born to Win putting up a fight against Monte on their best map, Anubis. But on Nuke, Woro & Co. shut down their opponents with a score of 16-2.
Can Boros end it here? Yes, he can! That is beautiful! The storyline of that one! Take away your ego, because the time will come when I will destroy you in tournaments.
In the end, Monte made it to the playoffs, while NaVi were eliminated from the Legends for the first time since 2017. History has set everything in its place. Woro 2K, who was once accused of cheating and whom Simple called a dumb player, managed to get revenge on the player of the decade in the game. SDY, in whom Blade didn't see any potential, became the captain and led his team to the playoffs, which shocked many people, even the CEO of Monte. In the playoffs, Monte had an unforgettable matchup as they faced Gamer Legion, the future finalists. Unfortunately, the Ukrainians lost to Gamer Legion with a score of 0-2 without any chances. Despite the defeat, they showed that Ukrainian esports, despite the war, is thriving and ready to conquer new heights.
Overall, personally, I'm really happy. I'm proud of the boys, how we play this game, how we approach this tournament. And Viva la France, Slava Ukraini!
Currently, Monte continues to participate in numerous Tier 2 tournaments and prepares for the release of CS2. Although the exact release date of the new version of CS and the first tournament on the new version is still unknown, the team's manager and analyst, Kryzen, expects CS2 to be released in August of 2023. That's all for today. How do you like the story of the most grounded team in CSGO? What did we miss? Write about it in the comments, and don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell. See you very soon.